Welcome. We're now in the part of the process where you're very close now to launching your very first campaign. Now, keep in mind, if you've gone through the previous processes and steps, it may have taken maybe a few days or so, but of course, as you study the process, refine your own follow through and habits, it should only take less than a day in the future, maybe even a couple hours or less once you get really good at this. So let's just get started to the MGID portion of setting up the campaign. Once you're in MGID and logged in, there's going to be an add campaign button right here in the middle. Now, if you already have campaigns running, then there's typically in this portion, there's going to be a chart with your spend history, and the add campaign button is going to be changed, I believe, to like somewhere up here. Of course, I made a new account for you guys so you kind of get a feel from your point of view. But all we're going to do now is just hit the add campaign button. Okay, here it's pretty straightforward. You have to name your campaign. A couple things to keep in mind. The name has to be unique within MGID's entire system. So if you go through this entire process and your name's not unique and you hit the continue button here at the bottom, they're going to ask you to re-enter a new name. So I would highly suggest you put some sort of identifier that is unique to your email or something like that so you can have a unique name all the time. So you might put like the product name, niche, and then you'll probably put like your email string or something like that. Of course, not the .com or Gmail or whatever you use, but some sort of identifier that is unique to you. From there, you're going to choose campaign type and you're going to put product promotions. Again, we're promoting affiliate products, so product promotions is the campaign type we're going to use. The other ones are not relevant to what we're doing. Then for campaign category, you're going to select the category that is most fitting for your affiliate product. If you have no clue what to put by any chance, because for whatever reason doesn't fit into any of these, you could just ask your manager from MGID, hit them up on Skype and ask them, hey, what is the best category for this? And they'll likely let you know. Next, you're going to have to choose your campaign language. Now, this campaign language has to be whatever language you're running that campaign. So for example, if you're running a campaign in US, it should be in English. If you found a campaign in Anstrax and you decided that, hey, you want to run an Italy campaign, it must be in Italian. And you have to keep in mind that you can't change that in the future. So if you run ads that are in Italian, then for whatever reason, if you add a new ad and it's in English, that's going to get rejected. So just keep that in mind. Whatever you choose at the beginning, your ad creatives must be in that language in the future. Next, block before show. I recommend you turn this on. And what that means is once your ads are approved, your campaign won't run right away. And the reason I suggest you do this is because sometimes you might have multiple ads that might get disapproved or rejected. And I just like having all my ads that I want to run at the same time and run through the same hours in the same days. So you have more data that is more reflective of how they compare to each other and not just actual days and hours. So I'd recommend you do this, which allows you to manually turn on the campaign once all your ads are approved. And that, for me, just allows for better tracking. Next, you're going to have to select what geo or country, along with what browser device and so on you want to target. You could just easily use the search bar here and put something like that, and it should pop up. USA pops up here. Once you found the place you want to run, they're going to give you an option of what regions to select. I would highly recommend you put all of them because, of course, you don't know yet what regions are more profitable than the other ones. Again, the spy tool doesn't let you know that, so you should select the entire country at the very start. For browser, your spy tool may or may not show this, so you would just select all of them. From there, make sure you select them and then hit the right arrow so it's added into your targeting. For browser language, typically you want to run whatever is the native language in the country you're targeting. Sometimes you may just let it run freely, have no specific targeting here, because for whatever reason, sometimes people in that country use browsers in different languages, and you might even see some conversions. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, when you're first launching a campaign, I highly suggest you start with just one device first. So even if you know the campaign converts in desktop and mobile, what I would suggest is when you look in your spy tool, see which one has a higher percentage. So for example, maybe mobile is shown 70% of the time versus desktop, which is only 30%. So should start with whatever is shown higher in your spy tool. Now, for example, with mobile OS, you could have all the main iOS here, Android, etc. And you could also select what browse or version history, or what version I mean. But of course, you're not going to know which one converts yet unless you launch a campaign and you look through your tracker. So make sure, again, you select everything. And then from there, dynamic retargeting, you should just leave it off at first and then hit confirm. Dynamic retargeting, leave it off and then hit confirm. Now, when it comes to scheduling, typically you're going to have this button checked. If not, there might be some campaigns that aren't allowed to be run on weekends or whatever. So you have to make sure that if that applies to your campaign, to enable the scheduling here. Now, for most campaigns, this may not apply to you. So don't worry about day parting, which that's what this is called, day parting. But just one thing to keep in mind is that if you do day part, all those hours apply to PST time or Los Angeles time. So if you're targeting Italy and they say, hey, this offer can't be run on weekends for Italy, you need to make sure that lines up with whatever time zone that is with PST time or Los Angeles time. So just keep that in mind. Next, limits. Personally, if you have a smaller budget, I would, well, even if you have a big budget, I like to do a budget limit. The minimum daily limit on MGID is $50 per day. And for the overall limit, typically you want to run a campaign up to 3 times the amount of the offer payout, or more, of course, if it's a small payout. But you may not spend $50 a day when I show you how to set up a whitelist. So just keep that in mind if you have a smaller budget. And that's about all I do here. I don't use any of these other options. As far as tracking tags go, I turn this off because we're using our own tracker and it's going to track MGID anyway. And I also turned the MGID conversion sensor off too because we have our own tracker. From there, that's about it. You could just hit the save button and it'll save this campaign for you. You're going to get an opt-in saying, hey, you did not set up tracking. Again, I already have it, so I'm just going to put save and continue. You're going to be redirected to your dashboard and you're going to see your campaign here listed. Of course, it's paused because you have no ads that are being moderated. And of course, you have the option that says block the campaign at first until you manually turn it on. And you're not done yet. You still need to add ads, but I'll cover that in the next lecture. So take care. Hope that helps. This is Paulo Perdue from libertyblueprint.com. See you on the future lecture.